in the first instance, I want you to tell us what took you to Paris.
So hello everyone. So my name is Antonia Valaire and I'm from Jamaica. And so what took me to Paris, France? Let's go back a bit. So when I was in university, so I went to UWI in Jamaica, University of the West Indies, and that was in the year 2013. I chose Introduction to Philosophy, where I met Professor Biwaji. He's originally from Nigeria. He lives in Jamaica. And I did that course. And because I love to read and I love philosophy, history, and so forth, the professor, he took a liking to me because I'm always arguing with him on various topics which he likes. And not long after, he sent me this WhatsApp message about a program called IRI, which stands for International Republican Institute, which is a youth leadership program, where I met a young man named Jamel. So Jamel is the one who saw this poetry submission from UNESCO, and he sent it to me. So let's show the timeline. So that was from 2013, where I met a professor at UWI. Then in the year 2022, I did a program which the professor recommended to me, which is IRI, where I met a young man. And then in the year 2023, that young man was able to recommend this program, which led me where I was able to submit my poetry. I got selected. So out of 252 submissions, only 10 poets were chosen. And that's how I went to France.
So what was your experience?
My experience, so I'm not much of a traveler. So I went to DAMREP last year based on the program that the professor recommended. I was chosen as a top youth leader. So out of 100 youth leaders, we did a program online, and then they chose only 20 to come to Dominican Republic. I was chosen at the time. So that was my first time ever traveling. Now, this is my second time traveling. So I'm not really much experienced, but it's the first because Dominican Republic is a Caribbean country, which my country is also a Caribbean country, but it's the first time going to Europe. I didn't know what to expect. I did a lot of research. I did find, going through airports kind of challenging because of the language. But overall, when I went to France, it was very good. I met other Caribbean poets. It was good. The UNESCO team, they were wonderful. We had translators and, we traveled and we went to the Louvre. We went to the Eiffel Tower. We went on tour buses. We went to the event itself, which is the Marché de la Posse, which is a book fair. And I met with lots of publishers. So it was really wonderful. I enjoyed it, to be honest. Everyone was, gracious and pleasant and stuff like that.
Okay, I hope you send me what you brought back from Paris online.
I mean, I got like a newspaper article. So this is like a newspaper article, which we're on.
Okay.
And we got like a little booklet.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it have, poets in it and stuff like that. Well, we got a few stuff, right? That was good.
And do you feel that would be an exposure?
Yes.
Okay, let's come back to you. Now, you've introduced yourself. Great. But now, how did you get into poetry, spoken word, and all those things?
So when I was younger, I started writing poetry. I just started to write. I didn't really know it was really poetry. When you grow up, how could I say? I didn't grow up rich, right? And I would say that in today's world, youths don't get the opportunity to grow the old school way of using pen, paper, using your environment to create things, but that was disposable to me. So I had pen, paper, crayon. So that's what I invested in. Drawing, did a lot of reading. My mom always tell me that when I was in the womb, that's what she did most of the time. She was always reading. So it's not surprising that I love reading, I love writing. And I could say that I grew up a bit. My mom was overprotective as the only girl and our last child. And there was a lot of things that happened in my home. There was, a lot of, poverty, stuff like that, things that I see. And as a young child, I could say that maybe I was fully aware of what's going on and I was able to write down how I felt. And it was through pen and paper. Also, my neighbors, they used to play like their radios, and I used to hear poets like Mota Baruka, DYCR. Eventually, I started reading books from like Louise Bennett. Louise Bennett is our cultural icon in Jamaica. She's now deceased, but I grew up reading her poetry and her storytelling and stuff like that. And so I was very empowered and inspired by these writers, especially Maya Angelou. I love Maya Angelou's work, Langston Hughes. And that's where it kind of developed for me. Just started writing on my own, eventually discovering poetry books, reading a lot of poetry, started writing. Then eventually I wrote a poem when I was around 14 or 15, Survival. And I remember reading it in class. And my teacher, she was like, whoa, this is very good. My classmates loved it and they started calling me the class poet when I was attending Spanish Town High. And, after writing for some years, by the time I was around 17, I eventually entered this competition in my community where I won. So I won a talent competition. And everyone was saying to me, you have a gift, you should continue writing. And then by the time I was 19, my first poem got published in Gleaner. Gleaner is a newspaper company in Jamaica. And that's kind of where it springboarded me to say, oh, this isn't ordinary. I really do have something here. But the thing I should note is that I used to write for myself. So everything that happened to me, I write about that. But eventually, an incident happened where my mom's friend, she came to our home and I shared my poem, I Rise, which was inspired by Maya Angelou's work. And she began crying. And that's when I think I was around 14 or 15. I don't remember the age, but I know I was a teenager at the time.
Why was he
And
crying?
Huh?
Why was she crying?
Because the poem spoke to her situation. And I was a teenager at the time. And that's when I fully realized that I can't just write for myself. I need to write for others. I need to be more aware of what's going around in my society and my community, and that what I think is happening just to me is happening to others. And so I started to branch out, not just write for myself, but starting to realize that, world issues, my country, start noticing things that were political, social issues, stuff like that. So that kind of propelled me and inspired me to continue writing and really get my work out there.
Okay. What is the influence of reggae on your poems?
I mean, reggae music or dub poetry. So a lot of people know just poetry or spoken word poetry, but in Jamaica we have a thing called dub poetry, which is inspired by dub beats and reggae. So sometimes a dub poet might be on stage and they will have, instruments. They like to use drums. It's always offer like a rhythm. There's a certain flow to your work. So reggae definitely inspire one's work because that's like the biggest or the main music in Jamaica. Most Jamaicans, we grew up listening to reggae. Everybody's supposed to know about Bob Marley, the great Bob Marley. And, his music is a music of righteousness. And I'm a Christian now, but I did listen to a lot of reggae music growing up because I've always been drawn to conscious and righteous music. Any music, because as poets, we are more drawn to the words. We are drawn to the meaning of the words. We are drawn to what it can do, word, sound, and power. So I've always been drawn to something that has meaning, it makes sense. And reggae music has always been a music that speaks to one's spirituality. It speaks to one's condition. It's a protest music. To always speak to one standing up for justice, standing up for your rights. Those are things that inspire me. Those are the things that I'm drawn to. That's why I'm also a youth leader and a youth volunteer. And I believe that poetry is not just to write, but is a work of activism.
Now, you said you're a Christian.
Yes.
Okay. And you are an activist.
Yes.
How do they relate?
I mean, being a Christian is one's spiritual faith, and one has to do activism same way in your spiritual faith, because what I share in my works, while I try to be unbiased, right? Because a poet, true nature, is to bring the word or any message in the most truest form. But at the same time, can you just 1 minute?
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So naturally, one try to be unbiased when they're sharing the work. But can you truly be unbiased? Because at the same time, while I'm being a Christian, I still have to bring my faith into my work. So, because I'm sharing what I believe in, I can't shun or hide away from what I believe in. So yes, activism is definitely part, because they connect, because you show what your belief in and what you want to bring to the world.
Now, as a Jamaican, and Jamaicans, Cubans, even African Americans, and all those people are yearning for the motherland. Are you also yearning for the motherland?
I don't know if I'm yearning for the motherland, to be honest, because I'm kind of comfortable being in Jamaica, but I would definitely want to travel to the motherland. There are certain nations that I've been researching that I want to go to. So I've been thinking about Ghana, I've been thinking about Nigeria, South Africa. So I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not really yearning. I because we are of African descent in Jamaica, and this is where I was born and bred, and this is where I grew up. This is what I know, and I don't really have a problem with my country per se. I mean, I have a problem with governance and all my country is governed.
Everybody that is
Yeah.
active in politics will always have a problem with governance.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter where you are now. But then is it like okay? Like I understand Rita Mali is in Jamaica, is in Ghana, and all those people.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot of yearning for the motherland and all those things. But you see, the thing is, personally, what I believe is anywhere one is, let them just make that place comfortable for themselves. Because what I believe is where you're going to, you'll be going there as a new person.
Yes.
So you may not know what's involved.
Yes.
You see. Now, could you give us one or two pieces of poetry?
Yes.
Okay.
So, um, let me just read survival, since I spoke about survival.
All right.
And it's taken from my book, Pearls Among Stones.
Okay.
This book won Prime Minister's National Youth Award. That's the highest youth award in my country. At the time, I would have been 21.
Okay.
Now, this poem was written at age 14, survival.
Oh.
I was born in a city where there is no love, no unity. I was born in a country where disease and hunger bites as if a mosquito was sucking your blood. I was born in a world where my color means segregation. I was born in a land where hardship lies, where power means corruption, where killing means surviving. I was born in a home where one bed means 5 people, where one slice of bread means 5 bellies. I was born in a universe where surviving means giving up your life for the next generation to be free. Give thanks.
Awesome.
Yes.
And by the way, how many collections do you have?
I have 3 collections. So Pearls Among Stones.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. Hey, what's happening?
The video went out.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right.
And from Babylon System, Liberation of Mind, and Black Gold. So I have 3 collections of books.
And I hope we soon have a Paris collection.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So, how's life in Jamaica?
Repeat that question.
How is life in Jamaica?
I mean, life in Jamaica is kind of what you make it to be, and it's a mindset, it's a perspective. So to me, it's balance, it's bad, it's good, depending on what you're speaking of. I always say to myself that one of the most important thing is that I'm alive and well, and that I put my trust in God, and that wherever you're placed or whatever situation that you're going through, you have to try to make the right choices, and those choices have to be aligned with God. As a Christian now, of course, I used to just do as I please, but now I pray about my situation. Things have not been easy, I can tell you. There's a lot of things that I'm going through with my family, but I still is optimistic. I'm still realistic. And so there's a lot of good things about living in Jamaica. We are very blessed to, have our fruit trees. We still have natural foods here. I can go on the road and, speak to a neighbor, and we can pray and stuff like that. So there's good and bad. And as I say, whatever you make it to be. So I'm very much grateful for my country. And I'm just praying that things will get better. And also every citizen would, realize that we all have a role to play to, make our country better. It's not just about government or politicians. Every citizen have a responsibility to protect their country.
There's no doubt about the fact that you're alive and looking at you well. But then, you talked of fruit trees and all those things. I think Jamaicans are very much close to nature.
Yes, we are. Yes, indeed. I mean, we're an island, and the thing about it, by right, an island shouldn't really depend on any other country, because God has already made everything possible here for us to survive. Once again, it comes down to governance. come down to, us being so, trying to imitate America, because we do a lot import more than we export. Our industries have broken down. But apart from that, we do have a lot of nature where we are. And, parishes like Portland, St. Mary, these parishes have a lot of fruit trees and, ground provisions, yam, stuff like that. All of those things we have here. And, we have a lot of farmers. But as I say, we have to protect what we have.
Maybe my next port of call will be Jamaica. Now, come to think of it, could you think of your happiest day so far?
My happiest
day so far?
Oh, my happiest day so far. I mean, most days I'm happy, because happiness.
But I'm talking of the happiest.
What is my happiest day? I don't know. I don't know what's my happiest day.
Okay.
Happiest day. I mean, most days I'm generally happy. So maybe my birthday, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe that's my happiest day. Or maybe when I went to France, maybe that was a happy day, because I didn't expect.
Have you ever heard of this this glitch? See Paris and die.
I think I heard it before.
So yeah. I'm happy you didn't die.
No. God protect me.
It's like maybe they're talking of all the beauty of Paris and all those things,
Like a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually get a culture shock, which was kind of weird. I didn't get a culture shock though. I was just embracing the moment and just enjoying.
Okay.
That was it for me.
Okay. Did you get to watch a movie?
No, unfortunately, I didn't go to any movie, because most of our days we have like events that we have to attend.
Okay.
And so most of the time that we got off would have been in the night, like very late, because most days we came home like the next day. Like, so we'll come home like 12, 1 o'clock. Like, we spend most of the day through events.
Okay, now I think there's a lot of things going on in Jamaica. I mean, as per this creativity. Even looking through your Facebook page, I've seen all this one camp, the other camp, and all those things. So, I mean, what's happening?
I mean, there is indeed a rise, especially in poetry. So there's a lot of poetic events happening. So I'm part of a poetry group called the Nomadic Poetry Group.
Yeah, I saw that one too. So
and
that word nomadic, I mean, what's happening?
Well, that's about movement, and what we do, it's founded by Malachi Smith. He is a very well-known dub poet. He was a former police. He now lives in America. And so he came back to help revive the poetry movement. And one of the things that he's doing is that he gathers poets, and we go from schools to schools and colleges and university, and we do like a tour. We do present our poetry, but we also encourage young poets to come up and speak. We tell them, oh, can you use poetry as a financial means, or you can use poetry as a therapeutic means. Also, there's a lot of school violence in school. And one of the things with school violence is because students, they come from, certain background, certain issues with parenting, their community, and we are not very much taught how to express ourselves when we are angry. We tend to use our fists and stuff like that. So one of the things is that we, the poets, try to teach these students that there's more. You can now have a conversation. You can speak, you can write on paper. You can put it in drama. So those are the things that we're encouraged. So yes, there is a rise in poetry. Also, you have a organization named Kingston Creative. I'm a member of that. And that is a massive also organization that is encouraging not just poetry, but creative works in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just extend to Jamaica, but the Caribbean itself. And
Okay.
there's various poetry events. Recently there was Calabash, which was in St. Elizabeth. You also have Yassa Safari, he does his poetry event as well. You have Rastakura. Rastakura is I believe 3-time IRAMA winner. IRAMA stands for International Reggae and World Music Award. He has his own show called the This Poem Festival. So there is a rise in poetry in various sectors.
I'm sorry, I think I saw this poetry for business or something like that.
Yes, so Poetry for Business tour is coming soon. I believe it's July 17 to the 21st. It's by Christoph Jenkins. He is an American and he is coming to Jamaica to share, about how can you make poetry into, money or stuff like. He had interviewed me before, so I know him. And also he connected to Ras Manga, who has his own radio show. So that's where the connection is.
I guess you are so busy.
Rather in tuned. I'm in tune to what I'm doing, and it's good to connect with other, artists across.
By the way, how many awards have you won?
I think it's 5. I believe it's 5. 5 awards. So I've won two in Jamaica and 3 in America.
Okay. So possibly they'll give you another in France.
Well, we'll see if there's an award. There's an award in France or so far. I'm currently, though, I'm in a competition right now in America.
Okay.
And so I'm nominated for that. So I encourage people to vote. You can go on Antonia Valaire's page. That is
I think you forwarded it to
ANTONIA VALAIRE. It's a spoken words award, so you can vote for me.
Okay. You don't have to answer this question. That is which was your most embarrassing day or moment? You don't have to answer it.
No, I would answer. I'm thinking which was my most embarrassing day
or moment.
A moment. So when I won Prime Minister Youth Award, I was seated, and then I think because I was so shocked in the moment, I heard my name call. I had papers in my hands. And even though I heard my name that I had won, because I was so in shock or surprised, I did not get up immediately. I was just sitting there looking. And then I saw Ed's just turning. Everyone was just looking at me. I am looking this way. I see the Prime Minister. She's also looking at me. And everyone is looking at me. And then someone hit me and they're like, you won. You need to get up. And I jumped up. My papers dropped. And then I started to fumble, taking up the papers. I'm looking around. I start sweating. Then I start walking very fast. Then I remember that I shouldn't be walking very fast. I should slow down. And yeah, I thought it was kind of embarrassing. I was just there. And I went up. And then the Prime Minister, she whispered something, but once again, I was still in shock. I don't know what she said, but I'm going to assume she said, congratulations, keep up the good work, or something of the sort. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, what will you tell the youth?
What would I tell the youth? That's such a broad question. Well, I mean, what I would tell the youths, now, based on what I see going on the internet, I would tell the youths that I know that we're pushing for us to be accepting of oneself and embrace oneself. But while we do that, I would say that we have to go back to the drawing board to know who is us in the first place as a person. And once I don't want to push my faith, but maybe you can find it on your own, but you're going to still need help. So a lot of people, they're embracing this thing of individuality. And while individuality is good, at the same time, people are becoming vain. And vain is not something that is good. Everyone is running down, trying to be famous, TikTok famous. For me, one of the reasons why I use social media, because I'm a poet, I do have to push my work. And, but that is in a case of marketing. And also, I genuinely want to meet other people. So there has to be some genuineness in what you're doing. If you're just going on the internet just for people to say, oh, you're famous, I mean, I would say that's wrong, because along the way, you're looking for validation. And I can tell you, you might get it today, and then tomorrow you feel sad because you can't continuously get validation. And if you look for validation outside of how God created, because God has already validated you. He has already created you in his image. He has already told you that you're handsome, you're beautiful. So you don't need to look to others to determine your worth. You have to know that you're worthy. And if you have low self-esteem, there's programs to empower you. In my case, my faith continuously empowers me to know that I am worthy, that I don't need to look outside for people to say, oh, you're handsome, you're beautiful, you're great. I already know that I'm great. I'm just walking in that pathway. So I will encourage young people to go back to the drawing board, find out the true you and embrace the true you, but also not become vain.
Hmm. Hmm. This you just touched an interesting topic: low self-esteem.
Yes.
I know low self-esteem draws the youth, even adults,
Yes.
to doing so many things,
Mm.
into drugs, into maybe unnecessary exposure of themselves and all,
That is so true. You
Mm,
check the internet and people are doing mockery,
mm,
foolishness,
mhm,
doing crazy things. You ever see those videos where they show individuals trying to take a picture and they're trying to take a picture at the cliff? Or
mm,
there's some videos that I watch on YouTube where it show minutes before you die.
mm,
And they're going on the train tracks. And I said to myself, it's very interesting what lengths we will go as humans to try to become so-called, social media famous. So we put our lives at risk. That's why I was alluding to earlier that, we put ourselves in those positions. It's not necessary.
mm.
Because by the end of the day, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So you will go on a train track and a train hit you and you're dead instantly. And then everyone goes on the internet and we all cry and we moan. And we say, oh, sad. And within a split second, someone forgets about you and we all move on to the new thing because there's always a new sensation. You're just for the moment.
No, I've observed that too. You see, the thing is, even whatever you do or whatever we do may not even last 2 minutes. Another person will do their own. And you see,
Yes.
why don't we just accept what you said? That I mean, just let's be satisfied whatever we have.
But it's hard because remember, we live in a technological world and there's a lot of things that are being pushed. And there's a certain set of people, they have an agenda. And those group of people start to say, not everyone is thinking of the goodness or doing good deeds. So there's people who are pushing certain agenda. I was seeing where even on TikTok, where people are saying it's so toxic because you do have contents that shows to self-harm and suicide and stuff. And those are things that are pushed to, especially to children. Children are very vulnerable. Their minds are not very developed. And so they have to be protected. I mean, I lead it back to parents because the internet and stuff like that. You have to be careful because when I was growing up, when did I first get my laptop? I got my laptop when I was in my 20s. I didn't really grow up much with technology. One, we couldn't afford it. And two, not everyone in Jamaica had certain technology, but I don't regret not growing with those things because it's the best thing ever. Because now that I have it, I know the importance of why I have it, how to use it. I didn't grow up, using these things. So it's not like it's part of me growing up or stuff like that. So that's why I can speak like this on these topics and encourage young people to be careful of the internet and technology.
In a few words, just tell us who you look up to.
Well, I look up to Christ definitely and Christ's ways. And I also look up to my mom. My mom, she's someone who has been through a lot when she was growing up, and she has been through a lot raising me and my three brothers. And I see her as she did not choose to be a single mother. My mom was married, and my father unfortunately abandoned us. It's rather unfortunate. I don't know why he left. He never really truly returned or, took care of us or stuff like that. So she had to do it on her own. It was by her own accord. And so when I look at her, I observe her ways and that she tried to live in a godly way, and she tried to give us, good values and standards. And I also look up to myself because by the end of the day, I hold myself accountable to do the right thing and to be the best role model for myself and to others.
Oh, it's been nice talking to you.
Thank you.
I'm sure. I mean, I'll have cause to chat with you some other time.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and it's a great honor. Hope one day we also meet.
Of course, we'll meet. The world is it's a village now. So
yes.
yeah. Thanks so much.
Yes, same to you, and have a safe day as well.
You too. Bye.